Hello, we are Group 5, and today we will be discussing critical theory and our findings through interviews and observations. Our team includes Lon, Nancy, Rama, Nichelle, and Sakshi. Our methodology, critical theory, focuses on the reflexive assessment of society in order to reveal and challenge power structures. It assumes that power is constructed in its context and is a strategic placement of the self in relation to others. It requires often asking, how did we get here to get to the root of this? Also, an important part of critical theory is the dominant discourse. This is a set of meanings that work together to construct who people are and what people believe. It's often not intentional, but is so commonly thought that it's not questioned. The dominant discourse can limit who we are, what we believe, and who we can be. It also prescribes being, quote, normal by defining insiders and outsiders. This serves to reproduce dominance. Our research objective was to understand the experience of remote learning. Through our research, we wanted to answer the following questions. How has remote learning affected the experience of class? What power structures impact remote learning? How do people feel before, during, and after class? And what is the dominant and non-dominant discourse around remote learning? We decided to focus on understanding the remote learning experience for college and grad school students. For our first method, we chose to interview 4 participants. All were first-year master's students. 3 of the participants were married and lived with their partner, in addition to 2 of them also having children. One of our participants was an international student. The 1-hour interviews were conducted individually over Zoom. We started out with asking background questions to understand their demographics, followed by a cognitive mapping exercise. The mapping exercise allowed us to learn more about their experience before, during, and after the remote class, both what they do and also their emotions behind it. After the mapping exercise, we asked them further questions related to power structures. Our second method was an online observation of Reddit posts. For this analysis, we looked at 10 total posts. 5 were found when sorting by most recent, and 5 were found when sorting by top popular posts within the recent week. We picked from college and grad school subreddits to most closely match the demographic of our interview participants. Because the posts were anonymous, demographic information was unknown. We looked for themes regarding remote learning and how it's impacted people's quality of life, routines, experiences, and the general discourse. Overall, we found that Reddit users expressed a more negative view on their remote learning experience. Many cited burnout, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, struggling, or lonely as reasons for their poor experience. Users would note either a lack of support system, social interaction, or even feeling unsafe to an uprising in COVID-related deaths. Users seemed to seek out support, advice, or a place to just vent as reasons to post their thoughts, and the comment sections were always filled with reassurance, advice, and thoughts of goodwill. To our surprise, the interviewees had an overall more positive outlook on their remote learning experience. More flexibility, more downtime, accessibility, more time with their family, no commute, and supportive professors were some of the reasons for a positive outlook. The common negative thread throughout the interviews was the lack of social interaction with their classmates and a feeling of disconnection when it came to networking or getting to know others in their cohort. We chose our interview data as the dominant discourse as we were able to gather more user data and background information. From our findings, we deduced that the dominant discourse of remote learning was actually positive, as seen from the interview data. That being said, we also concluded that to be able to have a positive experience, the non-dominant discourse implies that you have access to resources that satisfy your basic needs. These resources could be technology access, a social support, monetary supply, safety, etc. If you don't have access to satisfy those needs, your experience can be negative, as seen from the Reddit posts. Overall, our team enjoyed learning about our methodology, critical theory, and conducting our methods. Although the interviews were fruitful, we do wonder how our personal connections to Team 1 might have affected the data we gathered. In addition, if we could do it again, we'd want to have more time to build rapport and gather more participant context. For Reddit, we wondered what might have happened if we had created our own thread for users to comment on or if we engaged with users in our own comment section. These are things to think about next time as we continue to improve. Thank you very much, and we would love to answer any questions or engage with any comments.
Critical theory.